This 2023 arrest cost a Kentucky State Trooper his job and his freedom. He pounded on a man at the end of a police chase who'd already given up. In fact, that officer got more time behind bars than the suspect he was after.
Burnett Jr., Commissioner of Kentucky State Police. Former Trooper Kilburn's actions were out of line and rightfully prosecuted. Troopers have a duty to uphold the law in all.
Have you ever wondered what goes into making a Kentucky State Trooper?
Taxpayers got stuck with a six-figure settlement for a Kentucky State Trooper who lied about hitting a man with
You're about to receive will be extremely demanding. You will be challenged both physically and mentally on a daily basis. But you will be trained one.
State police detective who pleaded guilty to lying on the stand about evidence he collected has been
on duty. Be free from activity which will not bring credit to yourself or the division.
The Shearer grand jury indicted Trooper Wright on charges of beating and tasing multiple people without reason from 2021 to...
Kentucky State Police is to safeguard and enforce the laws across the Commonwealth. One of our priorities is making sure families across our new Kentucky home are safe.
That in 43 years of practicing law, I've never seen a trooper act in this manner on what should have been a simple speeding ticket.
There will be times when your actions are questioned, when that weight feels heavy. Remember this: storms pass, and cling to your training and your dedication and love.
Something feels off from the very beginning. Not loud, not chaotic, not even noticeable to the untrained eye. Just a subtle shift in energy, a quiet imbalance. Like everything appears normal on the surface.
2 lawsuits were filed against Kentucky State Police last week, one regarding a specific trooper and another claiming a violation of open records requirements.
But underneath it all, something is already beginning to fracture. A routine moment unfolding the way it always does. Predictable, controlled, expected. Yet beneath that routine, there's a tension building, slow and invisible. Decisions forming before pressure even arrives. A mindset already leaning towards something more aggressive than necessary. Control exists, but it doesn't feel stable. It feels fragile, like it could snap at any second, like it's only being held together by habit, not discipline. And in moments like this, when control is already uncertain, it doesn't take much for everything to fall apart. Good hit. Momentum begins to build, not just physically, but mentally. Everything starts moving faster than it should.
Can we get a flight successful flight trip?
10-4 is front left, his front right is flat right now.
Campbell. So good hit, Wolf on that.
37 count, we're passing 45.5 right now, speed's at 89, just slowing down just a little bit. 337, yeah, drive authority to pit, it's to a slower speed.
If you can safely do it and the speeds are safe, 10-4.
10-4, we're coming to a stop right now.
I'm just a second behind you. 337, go ahead if you can.
.37 Camelberry's fleeing on foot in front of me. He's reaching for his waistband.
What's your...
Show me your hands, I will kill you! Show me your hands! Show me your hands! You are when I catch you. Show me your hands, yeah! Give me your hands! Give me your hands now! Right here. Give me your hands! Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Put your hands behind your back! Show me your hands! Right here. I will kill you! Put your hands behind your back now! Give me your hands!
Caliber, I think they're on foot somewhere.
337. You get some!
Speed increases, distance closes, pressure rises. There's no reset, no pause to recalibrate, just continuous forward motion. Decisions stacking rapidly.
Kentucky State Trooper Hayden Kilbourne was arraigned Monday on assault and terroristic threatening charges. According to his indictment, he injured Robert Kidd by using a deadly weapon or a dangerous instrument. The weapon Kilbourne allegedly used and the extent of Kidd's injuries are not disclosed in court records.
This charge results out of a course of his employment where he's attempting to apprehend a armed and dangerous fugitive.
Kilbourne's report claimed Kidd was a convicted felon and had marijuana inside the vehicle along with a handgun and bloody suitcase.
Each one feeding into the next without hesitation. Good hit. A sense of urgency takes over, but it's no longer controlled urgency. It's reactive, impulsive, driven more by adrenaline than logic. Every second tightens the situation further. Every movement narrows the outcome. There's a growing intensity that feels less like strategy and more like escalation.
On Wednesday, Kidd was back in court. He had been held in the Carroll County Detention Center since his arrest in July. The special prosecutor in the case decided to not present Kidd's case to a grand jury and asked for Carroll County charges to be dismissed without prejudice.
So, all charges, do you want per Commonwealth?
Yes, and I filed Mr. Taylor's letter.
Is he the victim in the...
Yes.
Okay. So I'll dismiss her. So we are not holding you anymore.
I think he'll be sent to Oldham County now, where he's got hold of.
Good luck, Mr. Kidd.
Kidd is now in the Oldham County Detention Center. He faces charges in Oldham and...
What should remain calculated starts becoming emotional. What should stay measured begins to accelerate beyond control. And once that momentum reaches a certain point, it doesn't slow down. It pushes everything toward a moment that can't be undone.
We have new information this morning regarding a former Kentucky State Police trooper sentenced to prison for assault. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman says 28-year-old Hayden Kilbourne was sentenced yesterday to 5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to assault and terroristic threatening. According to the charges filed in Carroll County Circuit Court, Kilbourne used his police baton to physically injure a man during a 2023 traffic stop. He also threatened to kill the man before the assault. The case was investigated by K.
And then it happens. Not gradually, not with warning, but instantly. A complete shift from pursuit to confrontation. Distance disappears, separation is gone, and now everything becomes immediate. Personal, unpredictable.
3 years after a Kentucky State Trooper assaulted a man, the state just released the body cam footage.
It has taken nearly 3 years for this video to come to light.
New body camera footage is shedding light on a 2023 incident involving a Kentucky State Police trooper.
Now, we want you to know that this video may be disturbing to some.
KSP's commissioner says Kilbourne's actions were unacceptable and out of line.
I'm Colonel Philip Burnett, Jr., Commissioner of Kentucky State Police. Former Trooper Kilbourne's actions were out of line and rightfully prosecuted. Troopers have a duty to uphold the law in all ways.
This 2023 arrest cost a Kentucky State Trooper his job and his freedom. He pounded on a man at the end of a police chase who'd already given up. In fact, that officer got more time behind bars than the suspect he was after.
Heat. A surge of energy cuts through the moment, sharp and overwhelming. Logic fades into the background as instinct takes over. Every movement feels amplified, every second stretched under pressure. Heat. There's no longer time to think, only time to react. And those reactions aren't guided by control anymore. They're driven by intensity, by fear, by dominance. What was once structured becomes chaotic. What was once controlled becomes unstable. This is the exact point where everything begins to spiral. Because once control breaks, it doesn't return easily. There's no pause here, no moment of reflection, no attempt to slow things down. Just continuous escalation, layer after layer of intensity stacking without interruption. Heat, a situation that could have stabilized, continues to intensify instead, every action pushing further than the last. Boundaries fading, limits no longer respected. There's a clear shift from control to force, from procedure to reaction. Heat. What should have ended keeps going. What should have de-escalated only grows more aggressive. This is where judgment gets lost completely, where the line between necessary and excessive disappears. Everything becomes about dominance, about control through force rather than restraint. And once that line is crossed, it's almost impossible to step back, because the moment has already taken over. And then it lands, not just as a physical moment, but as something heavier, something final. An impact that carries more than just force. It carries consequence. Everything slows, not because the situation is resolved, but because the damage is already done. There's no urgency anymore, no chase, no escalation, just the aftermath settling in, a realization beginning to form, even if it's not fully acknowledged yet. This is the point where everything changes, because what just happened can't be undone. It can't be explained away in the moment. It exists now, fully formed, permanent, a moment that will carry forward long after this scene ends. After the intensity fades, what remains is silence, but not the kind that brings relief. This silence is heavy, uncomfortable, filled with the weight of what just occurred. There's no movement, no urgency, no sense of resolution, just stillness. A stillness that feels unnatural, like everything is paused, waiting, suspended in the aftermath. This is where reality begins to settle in. Not all at once, but slowly, piece by piece. The realization that something crossed a line, that what just happened doesn't align with what should have happened. And in this silence, there's no distraction from that truth, only the quiet presence of it. Time moves forward, but moments like this don't move with it. They stay, buried beneath procedures, behind systems, hidden from immediate view. Days turn into months, months into years, yet the moment remains unchanged, waiting, because the truth has a way of resurfacing, no matter how. Long it's delayed. What was once unseen eventually becomes visible. What was once ignored becomes undeniable. Time doesn't erase it. It only builds pressure around it until eventually it comes back, stronger, clearer, impossible to ignore. Because moments like this don't disappear. They wait for the right time to be revealed. What happened in seconds begins to stretch across years, every action now facing scrutiny, every decision placed under a different light. Nothing fades, nothing softens. The weight only grows heavier with time, because consequences don't always arrive immediately. Sometimes they build slowly, quietly, until they reach a point where they can no longer be contained. This is where everything is examined. Not just what happened, but how it happened, why it happened, whether it could have been avoided. And in that process, the reality becomes clear. Once a line is crossed, it doesn't move back. Everything after that moment is shaped by it, permanently. Heat, a faint echo of everything that unfolded. Not just a sound, but a reminder a reflection of how quickly control can be lost, how fast a situation can change. One moment, one decision, one sequence that couldn't be reversed. And now everything connected to it carries that weight. A career altered, a system questioned, a moment that refuses to fade, because in the end, it only takes one loss of control to change everything, forever. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Untold Crime Chronicles. Drop your comments below and like this video, please.